The U.S. Senate passed a bill called the Genius Act that sets standards for private companies to be able to issue stablecoins, a type of cryptocurrency that's pegged to a state-issued currency like the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, and so the idea of a stable coin is that because they're pegged to the US dollar or another conventional currency, they don't have the insane volatility that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin have. In addition to that, this bill would also require that companies that issue stable coins hold safe assets equal to the value of the coins they issue. And in fact, two of the biggest retail giants out there, Amazon and Walmart, are allegedly each considering issuing their own stable coins so that they can get away from increasing banking fees and improve processing times and stuff like that. So this could be very big news if it gets through the House too, and it is looking like it's probably going to go through the House.
It probably will, but we should also stress that not everybody is on side with this. Senator Elizabeth Warren says the act would, and I quote, supercharge the profitability of Donald Trump's crypto corruption, and noting that it does nothing to address the possibility of someone using stable coins to bribe the president. And let's remember that this is happening following over $200 million having been spent by pro-crypto organizations in the last U.S. election. Jeff, this feels like a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, it seems a little less suspicious for sure. I feel this way about most things around crypto. I still am not quite sure what the benefit to society as a whole for crypto is, but it certainly leads us into another bizarre piece of tech news from across the border that the Trump family is launching its own mobile phone company, complete with a wireless plan and a $500 phone. You'll never guess it, colored gold, that they call the T1. Eric Trump even said that the phone will be made in the US and then added eventually, because it seems highly unlikely that phone's going to be able to be completely manufactured in the US, because I'm not sure there are any phones that can say that.
I love the word eventually. I think that is the
Yeah.
key word here to pay attention to, because I've seen that everywhere as well. Well, eventually we're going to make it in the US. We probably don't need to spend a lot of time on this, but the optics of having a crypto invested president pushing for stablecoin legislation while also threatening Apple with tariffs for not building their phone in the United States, while the Trump family launches their own phone in the US that clearly isn't built in the US, doesn't look so good.
No, it doesn't look great at all. So I totally agree with you there. And we can jump over to some unambiguously positive tech news, namely that the next version of NFC, or near field communication, one of my favorite technologies, is going to get 4 times its current range of half a centimeter.
Well, I'm glad it's one of your favorite technologies. I didn't know that. I know a lot about you, having grown up in the same house.
Tap to pay works better than almost anything else in technology, as far as I'm concerned.
It's certainly better than Bluetooth, which is my least favorite technology, which
Yes.
rarely works. I know that tap to pay is remarkable and so convenient, but sometimes paying on something like the watch, if you have an Apple Watch, for example, can be a little bit awkward. So upping that range to 2 centimeters is really great. And now we have to share some kind of bad tech news, as we've seen a lot of password hacking over the years, but it looks like we may have just had the largest data breach in history, with more than 15 billion passwords potentially leaked. This is massive news everywhere these past few days.
Yeah, and it's super unfortunate. The breach includes everything from Google and Apple passwords to social media accounts, government services data, and lots more. It's from all over the place. It's not just from one source. So the advice from everyone out there is go change all of your passwords now, implement two-factor authentication immediately, and if you can, adopt other protections like using passkeys instead of passwords on your devices, which is getting certainly easier on Apple devices, as I've noticed.
I just realized that this should be a segment in the future for the other Mac on the difference between passwords and passkeys and 2FA. That would be really interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We'll take a note of that.
All right. Well, in other news, Meta's WhatsApp is going to be rolling out ads and sponsored content in the Apps Updates tab. I already see you shaking your head. Meta has considered this move before, backtracking from it in 2020, but it looks like they are going to go ahead, despite the fact, and I was was recently reading about this and kind of blown away that WhatsApp's founders were totally against this idea. But of course, Mark Zuckerberg, he has other plans.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I think it's quite a blemish on WhatsApp if that's gonna happen, but another way that Meta is pushing away their users as far as I'm concerned, and Meta noted, that it will, quote, "Never sell or share your phone numbers to advertisers," but it looks like Meta hasn't told that to its AI assistant about not sharing numbers, Amber, because there was a recent event that I think you know about that is, a little questionable in terms of that being true.
This is the thing I don't understand. How can you tout encryption within WhatsApp and at the same time be putting Meta AI everywhere? A WhatsApp user in England recently asked the Meta's What's AI app assistant for the contact number for a train service and was instead, and this is just unbelievable, given the private number of another random WhatsApp user. After the user figured out it was the wrong number, he asked the AI assistant what had gone wrong, and the assistant originally dodged the question by saying, "Let's focus on finding the right info." These assistants are overwhelmingly positive, Jeff.
They really don't like to be caught doing something wrong. They will definitely, well, as we've seen, lie in different things. In this instance, after being pushed further, it took the fairly common AI step of just lying about it, saying that the number it gave to that WhatsApp user was fictional and not associated with anyone, even though that guy had just talked to another human being at the other end of the line that that number led to. So, yeah, it's just more of the same, really, but kind of a strange story in this case.
Well, I think it's another example of Meta, and I think this is with Mark Zuckerberg's leadership of kind of moving fast and breaking things. I mean, this is what he's been doing for years and years. Now, in other AI news, TikTok, which has been granted yet another extension to September 17th to operate in the US by President Donald Trump, who's been handing out these extensions like candy at Halloween,
Yep.
has announced updates that might make some influencers a little bit nervous.
Yeah, and I can understand why they'd be nervous. So, the concerning update is to TikTok's AI ads platform. This is called Symphony, and the new feature is that or upcoming feature is that advertisers will be able to use a text prompt and upload some images that Symphony will then create videos using virtual avatars, and those avatars can model clothing, present products in various ways without any need of a human participant being involved.
Well, this looks like we are on the path more and more to AI avatars potentially replacing human influencers and models. We've seen so many examples of this as of late.